what I have here today, December 20,000, 2011, is a pocket watch that had a loose crystal. This is an Illinois pocket watch. Well, key on, key set, you can tell. And when I got it, the crystal would slide back and forth, and you could rotate the crystal around in the bezel, which isn't good. The only problem with that, well, the glue, it was a glued in crystal, that's why you could do it. And usually when they glue in crystals, they're a little bit small, so they have to glue them in to keep them from moving around. So I don't know, God knows how long this has been glued together. The glue finally wore out, or what's that word, deteriorated, decayed, whatever. So it wasn't doing anything anymore. The only thing it did do was keep the crystal from falling out of the bezel. But every time the crystal moved, it would the dried glue would get onto the dial. So I got, for some reason, I just started to move the crystal back and forth, holding it steady and moving the watch. And I got rid of all the glue, but then when I turned the watch upside down, the crystal fell right out. So I had a situation, either I could pay someone to put a new crystal in there, or I could figure out how to keep this existing one to stay in. Since I'm cheap, I figured a way to keep the crystal to stay in the bezel. And it cost me nothing. And I'm going to describe to you what I did, because I can't show you because I didn't do any video while I was doing this, because I don't have patience to do a video when I was doing this. I wanted to get it done with it. But what I did use, or what you do need, is you needed some tape. I got this packing tape. The only reason I used this packing tape instead of Scotch tape is because this was within arm's reach. I got a razor blade, and I have a shirt pin here in the loop so I can see what I was doing. So let's get to the excellent graphics so I can show you what I did and get all this junk out of the way. Excuse me, all these items out of the way. So my first picture, let's see if you can see that. This is not the scale. This would be looking down on the bezel, and you have the outside diameter, and then you have this opening. Well, this inside diameter is where you could see the dial, and here is a ledge for where the crystal rests. So notice I have a section here. The next view will be the section. So we go to number 2. Okay, oh, not to scale. None of these are to scale. So this is what that section through that bezel looks like on this watch. And what we're really concerned with is the this portion up here. This is the part where the crystal lays on flat. And the key thing, I guess I have to zoom in on this. What we have here, the vertical portion, is less than 90 degrees. You see, when they put these crystals into these cases or bezels, they didn't use glue back then. These things were, as someone would call it, they were snapped in. Since this is less than 90 degrees, you stick something in there that has a little bit of a less than 90 degrees edge, it's going to be locked in. It can't move up, because since this is less than 90, it's not going to go anyplace. The reason they glue crystals in is because they got one that's quite a little bit smaller than this diameter that this makes up here, and they have to glue it to keep it in. But if it was done right, no glue is needed. And I knew this. This is how I could do what I did. And you're going to learn, well, you're going to know now too. So this is less than 90. So you stick something in there, that of course got to be a little less than 90, it's going to stay in. So I knew that, so what I had to do was make this diameter here smaller so it would hold in my crystal. So how I did that, I used the tape. And I stuck my tape in there. I cut off about, on this 2-inch width, about a ½ an inch long. And I tried to shove that in there at first, but this 2 inches was just too long to try to get into the bezel, so I cut it in half, so I used I guess it was an inch. So I stuck it in there, and that's where I used the pin. I would stick the pin and push the tape up against the inside there, the bezel, to make sure it was there. So I did that, and then the next step I did, after I got the tape in position, is I used the razor blade, and I cut with the razor blade, I cut the tape flush to the top of the bezel. And that I did basically, let's see, a motion like this. Just I went along, cut it to the top edge. So there you go. So I made the diameter in certain parts of the bezel smaller, and that was what I had to do. None of these are to scale, and on this watch I first put I guess it would be like a 1-inch piece at the 12, and that didn't do anything. The crystal just came in and out. So then I put another piece. This time I didn't use the 1-inch, I used the ½ edge, and I put a ½ piece here and a ½ piece over here. That was better. I had to force the crystal to get it in, but it wasn't good enough because the crystal could still rotate and move back and forth a tiny bit. So I had to push that crystal out, and then I put 2 more pieces, one at the 9 and the other one at the 3. Again, ½ That was good. That crystal, I really had to force it in to get it in, and once I got it in, it's not moving, it's not rotating, it's not doing anything. It's locked in. And that only went up to the 3 and the 9 is because if you start going in this portion, since I stuck in the crystal on this end first, if you had tape over here where you're actually pressing the crystal down, you'd basically just push the tape down, because it's only tape, it's not going to stick. You just squish it right into the that horizontal ledge. So this was the limit, and it's working out pretty good. You can't even tell that there's tape in there. Well, I don't know if it's going to focus. It takes time. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good fit along the let's see if we can zoom in along the edge. And it's got a chip there. I put the chip purposely at 6 so I could, since I was pushing the crystal towards the 6, it would be over the ledge, the horizontal ledge. But it's not bad. You can't see, there's no glue, you can't see anything. It looks like the crystal is made for it. Only thing, maybe a little bit of a gap. You can usually tell when they glue the crystals in because you got a large gap between the crystal and the bezel. But this doesn't look too bad. So that's how I did it. That's how I got the crystal back into the case without any money. And there's the razor blade, and there's the loop to see what I'm doing. And that's that. Hope you learned something. Maybe you can do it yourself. I don't know. But hope you enjoyed the demonstration and the fantastic graphics. And thank you for your cooperation, and enjoy the rest of your day.